Welcome to the video lecture of admixtures in concrete. Actually, admixtures are material which are mixed in concrete other than cement, water, that is SCP, and aggregate. These materials are used as an ingredient of concrete and they are used or they are added in the batch immediately before or after mixing. Now, the question is why to mix admixture or what is the outcome of this topic? Actually, concrete is used for so many purposes in different conditions, in different environment, for different uses. In all conditions, concrete may not exhibit the required quality or you can say durability. So to modify those properties, admixtures are used in the concrete as an ingredient. But one care has to be taken that it is very difficult to predict the effect and result of using admixture. This is not because we don't know the property of admixture. This is so because change in brand of cement. There are so many companies which are making the cement. There are so many types of aggregate. So when the brand of cement is changed, when the type of aggregate is changed, when the gradation is changed, when the mixed proportion is changed, and when the richness of mix is altered or changed, the property of concrete exhibit different type of quality after addition of these admixture. That is why proper care should be taken to reach the required quality. Now, in this video lecture, first of all, I want to tell you that there are 212 admixture available to use as an ingredient in the concrete. American Concrete Institute, that is ACI, has classified these admixture into 15 groups. Now, what are those groups? They are air entraining agents, pozzolonas, accelerators, retarders, gas forming agents, air detraining agents, alkali aggregate expansion inhibitors, dam proofing and permeability reducing agents, workability agents, grouting agents, corrosion inhibiting agents, bonding agents, fungicidal, germicidal and insecticidal agents, coloring agents and miscellaneous agents. Now they are broad classification of all the 15 groups and all the admixtures available, that is 212 admixtures, are categorized under these 15 groups. Now we will discuss about air entraining agents. Now what is air entraining agents? Because most of the professors, they say that if air is present in concrete, it may affect the durability of concrete. That is true. But here, in this case, the air is intentionally entrained in the concrete. So, the air entrained intentionally in the form of tiny air bubbles in the concrete. A concrete maker or an engineer introduces these bubbles by adding the agent in the mix. These agent can be surfactant also. And if you see in the figure, you can see that tiny micro bubbles type, tiny holes type of structure is formed in the concrete. Actually, they are air voids. So if we talk about air voids, so air voids can be present in concrete, and it can be classified under two categories. One is entrained air and another one is entrapped air. So what is entrained air? What we are discussing in particular this slide. Entrained air is intentionally incorporated minute spherical bubbles of size ranging from 5 micron to 80 micron. It is distributed evenly, uniformly in the mass of concrete. Whereas the entrapped air is the voids present in concrete due to insufficient compaction. These entrapped air, these entrapped air voids are of the size normally embracing the contour of aggregate. Generally, their sizes are 10 micron to 1000 micron. And one thing you have to take care that they are never evenly distributed. At some places where compaction is not properly done, at that places those airs are very big, and at places where compaction has been done or slightly it has been compacted by its self weight, then there is very less air bubbles. So that is the difference between entrapped air and entrained air. Now, if we discuss about air entraining agents, generally natural wood resins are very good agents. Animal and vegetable fat and oil such as olive oil, tallow, and even their fatty acids such as stearic acid, oleic acids are very good agents. Third one is the wetting agents. Wetting agents such as alkali salt or sulfated and sulfonated organic compounds. Then next one is water soluble soap of resin acids, animals and vegetable fatty acids. Some miscellaneous material such as sodium salt of petroleum sulfonic acids, hydrogen peroxide, aluminium powder, they are very good agents. If we talk about these agents, in USA, linseed resin acid or aeroline or tip oil are very famous air entraining agent. Since frost scaling of concrete in India is not possible, so this is not practically used in India. However, the advantage of use of air entrained concrete is very relevant. It is very relevant when you are constructing multi-purpose dam. That is why when Hirakund Dam or Rihand Dam or Koyna Dam was being constructed in India, then we had also used some of those agents such as Aerolin. For Rihand, they had made a special agent whose name is Rihand Air Entraining Agent. But one thing I wanted to tell you which is very interesting, that Rita powder is a very good air entraining agent, and nowadays engineers are using that Rita powder as a air entraining agent in the concrete. Now the point is, what are those factors which can affect the amount of air entrained? For this, the first thing is type and quantity of air entraining agent used, which type you had used, and how much quantity you had used. Next is water cement ratio of the mix. It depends. If water is more, then obviously the entrained air will be less. Then the third is type and grading of aggregate. Which type of aggregate you had used, and what is the grading of that aggregate. Next one is the mixing time. It is very important because most of the the amount of air entrained is increased with mixing time up to a certain limit. After that, it will be started reducing. If we talk about temperature, then temperature of concrete at mixing time is important because amount of entrained air decrease as the temperature of concrete increase. Then type of cement. Type of cement, what is the constituent of cement you are using? Because if in particular type of cement alkalis are more, then it will affect the entrained quantity of entrained air. Even what type of oxides are present, that is also very important. Next point is influence of compaction. Now, this is the very important parameter which can affect the quantity of entrained air, because the process you are using for compaction, it may also reduce the air content. 50% of entrained air may be lost due to vibration of 2.5 minutes, that is 90 minutes, that is for 90 seconds, and 80% is lost if vibration or if compaction has done for 9 minutes. At Hirakund Dam, the air content of 10 to 5% is reduced after 30 seconds of vibration. It has been found. Then the next factor is admixtures other than air entraining agent use. For example, if you are using fly ash as an admixture, then it will reduce the amount of entrained air. So these all factors are having very importance. I had discussed with you that type and quantity of air entraining agent you are using, it may affect. And why I had told you that thing? Because different air entraining agent produce different amount of entrained air. It depends upon the elasticity of the film or the bubble produced and the extent to which surface tension is reduced. Therefore, if you are using different type of entrained agent, it will produce different quantity of air bubbles. And similarly, if you are using different quantity of same air entraining agent, it will result in different amount of entrained air. In water cement ratio mix also, it is affecting the quantity of air. At low water cement ratio, the water film on the cement will be insufficient to produce adequate foaming action. At medium water content, that is 0.4 to 0.66, the air bubble produced is in abundant. At higher water content, large amount of air bubble is produced, but it will lost with the time. It means that the water content should be in the range, in middle range, from 0.4 to 0.6. So these are the factors which are affecting the quantity of air bubbles too much. Now if we will discuss about effect of the entrained air on property of concrete, then the first effect is it increase the resistance to freezing and thawing. Now, how this affect, how this is affecting the freezing and thawing effect? Because when freezing and thawing, that is cyclic freezing and cyclic heating, is occurring, in that case, there are chances of disruption of concrete. But when air is entrained in the concrete, it decreases the place where expansion, where disruption is happened due to expansion. How? I will discuss in further points. Now next point is it improves the workability. Effect of workability due to entrained air is more, because plastic and fatty concrete can easily be handled and it can rolled away when you are working on the concrete. These air bubble will work as a lubricant over which the aggregate or concrete may roll down. So for effective workability, of concrete, the aggregate particles are so spaced so they can move past one another with ease during mixing and placing. We also say that in non-air entrained concrete, we can achieve this workability by including sufficient quantity of fine sand, cement, and water so that the particles are separated with coarse aggregate and movement can occur with minimum interference. But when air is entrained, even though interference is there, then also they can slide very easily on those tiny bubbles. The third effect is reduction in strength. Actually, effect on strength is depend on amount of entrained air, richness of mix, type of air entraining agent. All these factors are there. If air is there in the concrete, so obviously it will reduce some quantity of strength. But we have to check that how much strength is required for a specific concrete structure. And according to this, we can mix the air entraining agent if it is required. Now, these three properties are directly influenced by air entraining agents. But there are so many other properties which indirectly affected due to this air entraining agent. Now these points which I will discuss now are those parameters which are indirectly affected by air entraining agent in the concrete property. Now first one is it reduces the tendency of segregation. Now as indirect effect, it is written that it reduces the tendency of segregation. The next point is it reduces the bleeding. Actually, segregation and bleeding of concrete are different manifestation of loss of homogeneity. Now, before discussing this point, first of all, I want to tell you about what is segregation. Segregation implies separation of coarser aggregate from mortar or separation of cement paste from aggregate. So when this separation occurs, then that phenomena is segregation. And what is bleeding? Bleeding is autogenous flow of mixing within or its emergence to the surface from freshly placed concrete. Usually it is a result of sedimentation of solids So when you compact too much to the concrete, then the solid particles sedimented down due to their self-weight and water comes up on the surface. This is known as bleeding. Actually, bleeding is a result of formation of series of water channels inside the concrete. And once these channels started to occur, then after some time it reaches to the surface and then water will coming on the surface. Now one more factor I wanted to tell you here, that when water reaches to the surface, or you can say a layer of water will emerge at the surface, it will bring some cement with it. The formation of this layer of neat cement particle is known as lattice. So this is a very big problem for any structure, that when segregation, bleeding or lattice happens, then the structure may fail, or you can say the age for which you have designed, it will not overcome that age. Now coming to my topic, that it reduces the tendency of segregation or it reduces the bleeding. Why? Because when air bubbles are there, then they provide buoyancy force, or you can say the bubbles buoy up the aggregate and cement. When they buoy up, then the sedimentation is not possible and it reduces the rate of sedimentation. The second point is, when air bubbles are incorporated inside the concrete, then it decreases the effective area. That effective area through which the differential movement of water may occur. When differential movement of water is hindered, then there is no bleeding. Third point is, bubbles increase mutual adhesion between cement and aggregate, and due to this mutual adhesion, the separation is not possible. The fourth point is, the surface area of voids in plastic concrete is sufficiently large to retard the rate at which water separates from paste by drainage, and thus we can decrease the lattice also. So it is very good that we had decreased these things. Now next one is, it reduces the permeability. Now how it reduces the permeability? In view of lower permeability and absorption, air entrained concrete will have greater chemical reaction resistance with chemical attack than normal concrete, because it does not allow, it reduces the permeability, because when air bubbles are there, then any chemical or any uh, uh, water cannot permeate through them, and due to this resistance, we can make our concrete resistant to chemical attack also, and it is reducing the surface area also. That is why the pressure of water or pressure of chemical is also decreasing. That is why it increased the resistance to chemical attack also. Now next point is permits reduction in sand content, or I can add that with sand content it also reduces the cement content, because this minute sporadical air bubbles, they act as a fine aggregate, and when they are acting as a fine aggregate, then the requirement of fine aggregate is reduced, and reduction of this fine aggregate may further enable the reduction of water required, and reduction of water which cement required is also same. And this all has been happening without affecting the workability of slump. Generally, the water requirement is reduced approximately 3.5 kilogram per cubic meter when you are using rounded aggregate, and 4.5 kilogram per cubic meter when you are using angular aggregate for each percentage of air entrained. So this is affecting very nicely to our concrete. And if cement is reduced, if water is reduced, if sand is reduced, it means that the cost of construction is reduced. It is making economical concrete. And if cement is less, it means that heat evolved or heat of hydration is also very less. So it can reduce the heat of hydration also. Now next point is it reduces the unit weight. Now if cement content is less, if sand content is less, if water content is less, it means the unit weight is less. And air entrained concrete will contain 5% less solid material when compared to other concrete. And by lowering this cost, it also reduces the unit weight of the concrete. It means that at places where the load coming is less, we can go for entrained air concrete so that the structure is light in weight. Now next is it reduces alkali aggregate reaction. Obviously, when the quantity of cement is less, when the quantity of fine aggregate is less, then the alkalis present in cement is also less. So the reaction which happens between alkalis and aggregate will be decreased. The next point is it reduces the modulus of elasticity. Now, modulus of elasticity of a material using the same water cement ratio and same aggregate is reduced by 2 to 3% by each percent of entrained air, because the modulus of elasticity is directly dependent on the type of aggregate you had used. And so we can say A, the air in trend is affecting the concrete in so many parameters. Thank you.